Maura Murray's story does not begin with her life, but with a moment investigators still argue over. A single car crash on Route 112. A young woman standing beside her damaged Saturn. No injuries reported. No panic call made. Only minutes before she vanished completely.
I spoke to her directly, then turned away briefly. When I looked back, she was gone.
Police reports later described the crash as minor, almost routine. But witnesses described Maura Murray as shaken, quiet, evasive. When officers arrived, she was already gone. No one saw her leave. No one saw where she went. The disappearance happened between known moments. Before February 9, 2004, Maura Murray was a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts. Disciplined, competitive, trusted with responsibility. That image dominated early coverage. But investigators would later reinterpret her behavior, suggesting emotional instability without fully explaining what evidence supported that conclusion.
She was overwhelmed, yes, but disappearing forever was never something Maura talked about.
Friends said Maura Murray was stressed, not reckless. Police emphasized recent mistakes instead. The difference mattered. Stress suggests vulnerability. Recklessness suggests flight. That framing quietly shaped how the public and investigators interpreted everything that followed, even before physical evidence entered the conversation. In the days before disappearing, Maura Murray withdrew cash, searched directions, and emailed professors about a family emergency. Police later described these steps as deliberate planning. But no destination was confirmed. No lodging reserved. No explanation given for why winter roads became her route.
Planning a trip doesn't explain leaving your life behind without telling anyone.
Critics argue these actions looked less like preparation and more like someone unraveling under pressure. If Maura Murray intended to vanish, why leave behind personal items? Why tell no one? Why choose isolation instead of certainty? Each unanswered question weakened the certainty of police assumptions. At 7:27 p.m., Maura Murray's Saturn struck a snowbank near Woodsville, New Hampshire. Witnesses arrived quickly. Police followed soon after. But by the time authorities reached the scene, Maura Murray had vanished. No blood, no visible injury, no trail leading away.
There were no clear tracks leading away from the crash site.
Police theorize she fled into nearby woods to avoid legal trouble. Yet trained search dogs lost her scent at the road. Snow conditions should have preserved footprints. None were found. The physical environment contradicted the most widely repeated explanation almost immediately. Within hours, investigators leaned toward one conclusion. Maura Murray voluntarily left the scene. That assumption guided searches, interviews, and press briefings. Alternatives: abduction, third-party involvement, missed witnesses received less attention, not because they were disproven, but because they complicated the narrative.
Once they decided she ran away, everything else suddenly became less important.
Once labeled a runaway, urgency subtly shifted, resources narrowed, questions softened. Critics argue this moment mattered more than any later mistake. When investigators decide early what happened, they also decide which evidence no longer deserves pursuit. Search teams flooded the area around Maura Murray's crash site within days. Dogs, helicopters, volunteers. The official focus remained the woods. Maps circled forests, ravines, frozen streams. But little attention went to the road itself. The last confirmed place Maura Murray was actually seen alive.
They searched everywhere she wasn't, instead of questioning how someone could vanish so fast.
Critics later questioned that focus. If Maura Murray entered a vehicle, even briefly, scent dogs would stop at pavement. That happened. Yet the possibility of a roadside encounter received minimal follow-up. The search expanded geographically, but narrowed conceptually, away from human involvement. Several local residents reported seeing activity near the crash site that night. Vehicles stopping, headlights slowing, but many statements conflicted with official timelines. Some witnesses were interviewed once, others not at all. Their accounts didn't align cleanly with the runaway theory investigators favored.
I reported what I saw, but no one ever followed up afterward.
When witness statements complicate a theory, investigators must choose. Expand the inquiry or contain it. In Maura Murray's case, critics say containment won. Conflicting observations were labeled unreliable instead of reconciled. Over time, those voices faded from official summaries, but not from public debate. As weeks passed, media coverage filled the silence. Headlines focused on Maura Murray's mistakes, credit card misuse, disciplinary issues, emotional strain. Context vanished. Complexity flattened. The public began consuming a simplified character. Troubled student, possible runaway. Mystery driven by personal failure.
They turned my daughter into a headline instead of a person who needed answers.
That portrayal mattered. Once a person is framed as unstable, suspicion shifts inward. External threats fade. Media repetition hardens speculation into assumption. Critics argue this narrative discouraged deeper questioning of law enforcement decisions and made alternative theories feel unnecessary, even unreasonable. Behind the scenes, Questions persisted. Why no confirmed sighting after the crash? Why no belongings found? Why did some reports change over time? Certain details surfaced years later through interviews, not police briefings, fueling suspicion that uncomfortable facts were deprioritized, not disproven. Critics argue the investigation favored conclusions over contradictions. Evidence that supported flight was highlighted. Evidence that suggested interruption was minimized. Over time, the official file grew thicker, but clarity did not. The case accumulated paperwork without resolving its central absence, Maura Murray herself. Years passed. Leads dried up. Searches paused. But Maura Murray's disappearance refused closure. Not because theories ran out, but because none fully explained the evidence. Every explanation required ignoring something else. Every certainty created a new contradiction.
I don't need theories anymore. I need someone to explain what doesn't add up.
The case survives because doubt survives. If Maura Murray ran away, where is she? If she was taken, by whom? If mistakes were made early, can they ever be corrected? The unanswered questions outlived the investigation that tried to settle them. As criticism grew, law enforcement became defensive. Officials insisted nothing had been overlooked. Public statements emphasized effort, not uncertainty. Questions about missed witnesses or narrowed assumptions were framed as hindsight complaints. The investigation, once open-ended, now appeared guarded, resistant to alternative interpretations of Maura Murray's disappearance.
At some point, protecting the investigation became more important than questioning its early decisions.
Instead of reopening early decisions, authorities reinforced them. Admitting error risked undermining credibility. Critics argue this moment froze the case. When investigators defend conclusions instead of re-examining them, unanswered questions stop being investigative leads and become threats to institutional trust. Independent experts examined the case years later. Former detectives, search specialists, and profilers disagreed with the runaway theory. Some argued scent dog behavior suggested vehicle involvement. Others questioned search timing. These disagreements rarely reached official reports, existing instead in interviews, forums, and off-record discussions.
When professionals disagree this much, certainty should never be presented as settled fact.
Publicly, consensus was implied. Privately, it did not exist. Expert disagreement is not failure. It signals complexity, but complexity threatens simple narratives. Critics argue these dissenting opinions were never formally integrated, leaving the public unaware that certainty inside the case was far weaker than portrayed. Online communities revived interest in Maura Murray's disappearance. Forums dissected timelines, witness statements, and police reports line by line. New questions emerged. Old assumptions were challenged. For the first time, the official narrative faced sustained public scrutiny beyond traditional media framing.
We found inconsistencies, but separating facts from speculation became its own challenge.
But crowdsourced investigation brought risks. Speculation blurred with evidence. Accusations spread. Innocent people were scrutinized publicly. While the internet exposed contradictions, it also created noise. Sorting meaningful doubt from destructive rumor became another unresolved problem layered onto the case itself. Legally, Maura Murray's case stalled. Without a body or confirmed crime, subpoenas were limited. Search warrants expired. Witness memories faded. Early investigative decisions now constrained later action. What could have been pursued immediately became legally unreachable years later.
Cold cases often aren't unsolved because of missing effort, but because of lost timing.
This is where timing matters most. If mistakes occurred early, the law offers little remedy later. Critics argue this legal freeze preserved uncertainty permanently. The system designed to protect rights also prevented deeper correction, leaving unanswered questions locked behind procedural barriers. After decades, Maura Murray's disappearance remains unresolved, not from lack of theories, but from excess contradiction. Each explanation demands ignoring evidence pointing elsewhere. Each conclusion feels incomplete. The case survives because no narrative accounts for everything that happened that night.
Someone knows what happened, but the truth never fit the story they chose.
If Maura Murray walked away, why no trace? If she was taken, why no proof? If errors shaped the investigation, can truth still be recovered? The mystery endures not because answers are hidden, but because the wrong questions may have been asked first. One possibility refuses to disappear. Maura Murray never left the road alone. The crash site sat along a narrow highway. Cars passed, drivers slowed. If someone stopped, even briefly, the interaction would vanish with them. Roads erase encounters faster than forests ever could.
If a car was involved, everything investigators assumed afterwards starts to collapse.
This theory challenges early assumptions. If Maura Murray entered a vehicle willingly or under pressure, scent dogs stopping at pavement makes sense. But pursuing that angle required suspect development investigators never publicly acknowledged. The road was treated as a boundary, not a potential crime scene. Over the years, several individuals drew quiet attention. Locals, passers-by, men whose timelines didn't align cleanly. None were publicly charged, none conclusively cleared. Their names circulated privately, rarely officially. The absence of transparency fueled suspicion without resolution.
Unidentified persons of interest keep a case alive, but they also keep truth suspended.
Investigators insist every lead was examined. Critics counter that examination without disclosure breeds distrust. When potential suspects remain undefined, the public fills gaps with speculation. The case accumulated shadows instead of clarity, leaving unresolved figures permanently adjacent to Maura Murray's last known moments. As years passed, Maura Murray's family continued pushing for answers. Requests for transparency met limited responses. Files stayed sealed. updates remained scarce. To investigators, silence protected integrity. To family members, it felt like distance from truth rather than professionalism.
You can't search for answers while keeping the people who care most in the dark.
This tension hardened positions. Trust eroded, cooperation narrowed. When families and authorities stop sharing confidence, cases suffer. Critics argue this breakdown mattered as much as any missed lead. Information withheld, even cautiously, can permanently stall momentum in unresolved disappearances. Calls to reopen Maura Murray's case surfaced repeatedly. Each time, officials cited resource limits and lack of new evidence. Critics responded that evidence wasn't lacking, momentum was. Revisiting early assumptions risked exposing institutional mistakes no department wanted publicly dissected.
Reopening isn't about new evidence, it's about re-examining the old evidence, honestly.
Cold cases survive on humility. Reopening requires admitting uncertainty. In this case, certainty had already been broadcast. Undoing it meant challenging years of official messaging. That resistance, critics argue, turned the investigation itself into something that needed protection. After everything, searches, theories, debates, Maura Murray remains missing. No confirmed sighting, no verified explanation, only fragments that refuse alignment. The mystery endures because each answer fails under scrutiny, collapsing beneath the weight of overlooked details and unresolved contradictions. The case forces a final question investigators never answered clearly. Was Maura Murray lost to circumstance or lost to assumption? Until that question is confronted honestly, her disappearance remains unfinished, suspended between what was investigated and what was quietly set aside.